It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hi, I'm Kate Neligan, and this is Metaphysical Mastery, which is a podcast done by a mother and daughter to really help teach ancient wisdom teachings, but help you to apply them to your daily life. And I am an equine partnered life and career coach, healer, animal communicator, speaker, and author. And my mom, Peggy Neligan, has been the director of the Metaphysical Center in New Jersey and has taught a 13-level course of study several times for that center. She has been on a spiritual path pretty much her entire life and has had some really interesting twists and turns. And I, too, I used to be an atheist, and I was not interested in all of this. And then through some really interesting awakening and existential experiences that I could not explain through science and through practical reasoning, I started to open up to more of a spiritual understanding of life and realized I had a lot of intuitive gifts. And then I got my master's in spiritual psychology, graduating in 2009 from the University of Santa Monica. And then my mom did as well in 2012. And we have wanted to do a podcast to really bring the wisdom that she shares with me to the masses in a really great way. So we chose Divas That Care Network. And these are 30-minute podcasts that are going to be happening once a month, where we'll talk about different topics that are kind of relevant to the time, that you can understand the metaphysical meaning of what might be going on or what the topic is about. And then you'll have that kind of real life application as well. So I have often talked to my mom about lots of different topics. One of the biggest is like the difference between the ego and the soul, and how the ego drives us to do certain things. It always has this better than or less than component. And the soul really is here for learning and growth and uses everything for upliftment and knowledge. And our desire, our goal with this is to help our listeners raise their spiritual consciousness. And a way I might call that is also to embrace your awakening. And this is a place where even if you're just spiritually curious, you can come and hear a really interesting way to look at your own challenges and your own life and different things that you might be interested in. The one that we were actually supposed to do today was on the elementals and talking about leprechauns and fairies in honor of St. Patrick's Day. But unfortunately, my mom got sick and was not, and which is very, very rare for her, actually. I can't remember the last time she wasn't feeling well. And so we are doing an introduction, or at least I am doing an introduction today, just to give you the kind of practical behind-the-scenes piece to this. My mom is going to be 77 this year, and she has been with the Metaphysical Center for almost 30 years. So almost my entire life, when I was a tween and teen, I was hearing the Metaphysical Center have meetings in my home. They were meditating, they were oming together, and I used to roll my eyes and feel like it was a council of witches in my house. And I really was interested in being a biologist and being a veterinarian, and wanted nothing to do with this until I realized that there was a lot I couldn't explain, and that my ego was driving me crazy. And so I started to ask my mom about different concepts, and the metaphysical teachings and really the spiritual teachings is what helped me get out of the way of like this discontentment with my life and this feeling like I was never enough or wasn't doing enough, and helped me find my center. And so hence me then eventually getting my master's in spiritual psychology and really opening up my own intuitive gifts. So metaphysics, meta means beyond, and metaphysics deals with that which lies beyond the physical. It also includes the physical, but that which we cannot perceive with only the five senses. So metaphysics is an applied physiology, philosophy. But for me, that's what resonated, I needed something that was grounded and practical, but also something that allowed me to go outside of just what I was seeing and feeling and touching, because I personally was, hearing like voices that was helping me to realize that my intuition, I'm clairaudient, I was hearing guidance, and I needed to understand this and not be scared of it. I realized I had a lot of abilities being an empath and being highly sensitive that I had never honored, that I also had never honed. And so really talking to my mom through all of this has helped me to find some grounding and some appreciation of who I am, and then taking a lot of courses and classes as well. So there's so much that my mom has to share, and I'm going to be asking her questions. We're going to be talking about different topics in the metaphysical space that you can start to master, practice, understand, and it might start to bring up new questions for you and new explorations, things you want to go and try for yourself, maybe things you want to learn more about. I recently talked to someone who wants to become more psychic and to develop her intuition, and is looking for information on that, or people who are just starting to discover Reiki or healing modalities and how that's helping them to either deal with pain or different challenges that they're going through. So this podcast, Metaphysical Mastery, won't offer all the answers, but it's a tool for thinking through some of these big questions about humanity and the universe. Questions like, who am I? What is my purpose? Where do I fit into the universe? What is consciousness? What is the cosmic source? Is there free will? What does it all mean? Truly, why am I here? That's often the biggest one that we hear. And my master's program always asked 3 questions and helped us to answer them. And that's really where I found some of my greatest grounding as well. So we'll both be bringing in the spiritual psychology pieces. But those questions are, why am I here? Who am I? And how can I make a meaningful contribution on the planet? So being a life coach, one of my biggest pieces is getting people connected back to their passion and their purpose. I loved horses when I was a kid. I've always loved animals. So hence me working inside of this space of being very passionate about animals and how they teach people and help heal people. And also being in that purpose, being a coach and a speaker and an author, really being able to share wisdom through different techniques, through different media, podcasts certainly being one of them. So the goal is that we start to help educate and enlighten and encourage you on your spiritual growth path, that this is really for your personal growth and development, and that it's a safe space for you to feel like maybe you relate more to my mom, who's in this crone space of 77 and wants to continue to pass on legacy and wisdom, or myself, who's in my early 40s, really still grappling with this 3D reality of work and ego and this kind of quote unquote pursuit of happiness that we all go through, and the challenges that we find in the hustle and bustle of life. And so you'll see sort of through our sharing and our connection and our love and our wisdom that you might resonate with either one of us, and that you'll be able to see yourselves in our stories and in our connection. My mom is also someone that I never, really expected to have this level of relationship with. I actually coach a lot of moms myself, single moms, divorced moms, or adult women who have issues still with their mothers. And what's so fascinating to me is that my mom and I had a really tumultuous, turbulent time when I was a teen, and I was coming into my hormones and she was going through menopause, and we both did not get along. We actually had a lot of challenges, and I really thought I hated her at that time. And then through kind of having this connection to spirituality that we both share, over time we've done a lot of healing, a lot of forgiveness, and we honestly are best friends now. So there's really something there for people who may have some challenges with a parent, knowing that they can work through them and overcome them. And the goal is also just that you start to feel like there's some humor to this and some lightness. I'm someone that can look at all of these metaphysical concepts with a little bit of healthy skepticism, where I don't always fully believe it until I have my own personal experience with it. But the goal right now now is that maybe some of this plants a seed for you to start to think about things a little differently, question things, and come to your own answers. Really for you to be able to see potential and possibility, and to have some new teachings that you may have not gotten anywhere else. Because the Metaphysical Center of New Jersey has this long lineage, 60 plus years of these teachings that started with an original teacher, and they are passing them down. So to me, it's really important that I both help these teachings get out into the world, but that I also give my mom this platform to have a legacy. And quite frankly, she's a little nervous about doing this live, but we've talked about how it's going to be okay. It's just us having a conversation. So many of my friends have want to see her whenever she's in town. They want to have dinner with her. They want to pick her brain because they love how she holds these higher perspectives with a lot of compassion and with a decent amount of neutrality. Sometimes my mom and I will get into it because I don't always agree with certain things she has to say because I have my own experience. But for the most part, whatever she shares really usually resonates with me as truth. My body feels lighter. It just is that resonance energy. And I think a lot of my friends feel the same way. So we figured that if they wanted to hear our conversations, maybe many others would as well. And hopefully this inspires you to reconnect to your own mom or to a mother-like figure in your life, or to even improve yourself as a mom, because it's one of the most important roles on the planet to be able to shepherd in children and teach them and help them, and to really fully see them. And, as a very sensitive kid, I didn't always feel that way, but now I do. And now I feel like my mom really honors my biggest gift, which is my intuition. So we hope that this will be a platform for you to feel connected and inspired and seen, and that you'll get a lot of great information and teaching that you can apply to your daily life, and that it really just uplifts you each month. We'd love to hear topics that you'd like us to cover. My mom does a lot of research to prepare for these things and goes through all the teachings and pulls out the gems and the aha moments and the major takeaways for you. So I'm just looking forward to bringing this, bringing you her, and getting started. So thanks so much. We appreciate you listening in and learning from us.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.